Hello party people, it's me again. So here's your review of Raw is War. Well, it's not Raw is War, they don't really call it Raw is War anymore, they just call it Raw, WWE Raw. Week commencing September 19th. Firstly, if you could like, subscribe to my channel, that'd be so kind of you. So it starts with Seth coming out, so obviously it can be Seth versus Bobby Lashley as it was announced last week. Both top tier wrestlers, both former world champions. Really solid match. If you haven't seen a match, go and watch it. It was an absolute solid match. I think Bobby Lashley has awesome matches personally, and so does Seth, obviously top tier wrestlers. There was an awesome spot in it where Bobby Lashley was going for the spear and he got hit with a counter pedigree. It was awesome. Bobby Lashley kicked out, but Seth nearly had the match won. He had basically Bobby Lashley finished basically, but then there was a distraction from Riddle, which then cost Seth the match by a spear due to distraction from Riddle. So good win there for Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has been on an absolute roll. I don't remember the last time he's been pinned. He's just been running for everybody. Then we had Team Bayley. I just call it Team Bayley. Team Bayley basically stiffing the crowd, calling the crowd out and saying, Bayley saying she can do what she wants and she will come for the title when she wants the title, and her crew are the best crew. And then obviously Bianca, Alexa and Oscar come out, and then Alexa actually calls out Bayley for a one-on-one match tonight on Raw. Then we had KO versus Theory. Obviously, both great wrestlers. KO is one of the best talkers in WWE and wrestlers. KO actually won by a distraction from Johnny Gargano. So, good win there for KO. And in the backstage, basically Riddle says he's going to be helping Ray get his revenge against the Judgment Day. Because obviously the Judgment Day are running riot against the Mysterios right now by taking Domino. Not Domino, Dominic. Then we had Team Sheamus basically saying they're gonna taking a shot at everyone, saying they're gonna get the titles from the Usos, but then Street Profits come out saying they haven't beat the Street Profits, excuse me, in tag team competition. So then we had the Brawling Brutes versus the Street Profits in a really good match, but in the end of it, now they have beaten them because of this. The Brawling Brutes won the match and they've now beaten the Street Profits. So congratulations to them. Then we had the Alpha Academy basically talking to Johnny Gargano and basically fronting on him. And then they started defending Theory. And then Johnny says he's going to tag team with KO in a tag team match. So we'll see what happens there. Then we had the Judgment Day basically praising Dominic for saying he's standing up, he's being his own man, he's stepping out of the shadow of his dad, Rey Mysterio. And the crowd, he is probably one of the most disliked person on Raw because the crowd were booing the heck out of him. He got super heat, so see what happens there. So then we had the Judgment Day versus Rey and Riddle in a really good match. Obviously all four parties are really great wrestlers, but in the end the Judgment Day won by a distraction from Seth and Dominic, as obviously. And then we had the Miz calling out Dexter, saying why is he targeting him on a Miz TV. And then all of a sudden a knife was coming out of the ring, someone was cutting the floors, and it was Dexter, popped his head out, and yeah, that's still carrying on. Then we had Judgment Day basically saying they want to do Riddle versus Priest in a one-on-one match, and then Finn backstage, and then Finn runs into AJ backstage, just trying to recruit him onto the Judgment Day, and having been part, but Finn offered the olive branch to AJ, saying for him to join the Judgment Day, which probably could happen, because to be honest, don't get me wrong, AJ is one of the best wrestlers, but he's not really doing much at the moment. He's not really being utilised much at the moment. So he might as well just join the Judgment Day, just for something to do, to actually get on TV. He's not really been doing much. Then in the main event, we had Bayley versus Alexa Bliss in a really good match. Obviously, both are former champions, but in the end, Bayley won by distraction from Damage Control, or Team Bayley, I like to call it. Then we had Smackdown. Smackdown starts with the Bloodline coming out. Basically, they've stated now that Roman Reigns has been a champion for 754 days, the longest time in modern era of wrestling. So congratulations to Roman Reigns. Basically, obviously, Roman Reigns wants Salt Lake City to acknowledge him. And then also Solo has now acknowledged his tribal chief. But this was quite funny. when it was all said and done, Sammy was like, hey, like, he's like, cut the music. He's like, hey, what's going on? Like, I acknowledge you, blah, blah, blah. And then Roman was like, take that shirt off right now. You're not a bloodline. You're not wearing the bloodline t-shirt anymore. Take it off. And then everyone thought he was kicked out with the bloodline, but he actually wasn't. He was given a new t-shirt, the honorary Uce t-shirt. So yeah, and the crowd are actually cheering for Sammy. So they really like Sammy. So yeah, see what happens there. I think Sammy is awesome. I think it's so funny. So then we had Liv Morgan versus Lacey Evans in a match 1-on-1. Hardcore match, which Liv Evans won. And she also put, Liv Morgan, sorry, not Evans. She also put Lacey through a table as well. So that's what we're going to see when she versus Ronda Rousey. Then in the backstage, we had Hit Row and Street Profits back chopping it up with Shinsuke Nakamura. See what happens there. Then we had a backstage segment where Sammy was backstage, starting to sort of throw his weight around because he's now officially in the bloodline. And then Madcap and Ricochet was saying, hey, you've now grown a bit too big for your boots. You're now a bit too arrogant. And then obviously they were disrespecting Sammy. And then what happened? They got jumped by Solo. So be careful what you say around Sami Zayn. Then we had a New Day versus MMM. Obviously the New Day won. I'm not sure what's happening with MMM. I don't think they've even won a match. Or not on televised wrestling anyway. I don't know if this was a previous owner's idea. Now the new owners do not like this idea, so just run it into the ground. I have no idea, but they have not won one match. If they won a match, can someone let me know? Because I don't remember them winning a match. Then we have Braun Strowman versus Otis. Really good match. That should have been a pay-per-view or a premium live event match. But no, really good match. Massive, powerful guys, but in the end, Braun Strowman won by a powerbomb. It's a bit weird because someone else uses a powerbomb on a different show. But yeah, great match anyway. Then we had Drew basically coming out saying he wants Karrion Kross, and it's the higher-ups have now confirmed he will be facing Karrion Kross at Extreme Rules in a strap match. When that happened, Karrion Kross's music plays, and then he comes out and jumps Drew, but Drew gets back on him and gets a strap on him and starts beating him down. But then in the end, Drew gets choked out, so that add more fire to the fuel to the fire, I should say. Then we had Dakota versus Rodriguez in a match 1-on-1, but that ended in DQ because there was a massive brawl. Then we had the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes in the main event for the Unified Tag Team Championships. Obviously, if the Usos win, they're going on their way to breaking, I believe it's 458 days, the longest reigning defending champs with the New Days. So if they continue winning, they're on their way to there. And what do you know, they won. Really good match. But there was a bit of interference there from the Imperium, who started beating down Sheamus, which then led to the 1D. So in the end, your winners and still tag team champions, the Usos. So yeah, that's your review in 8 minutes of Raw and SmackDown. So yeah, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But it was a good show. Definitely watch it if you have time. Take care.